This video is about famous Hollywood celebrities and people who passed away from 16th to 20th of January 2021 in the United States. Before we proceed, please subscribe to our channel to support us. Mira Furlan, she was born in September 1955 and she died in January 2021. Her age was 65 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death were complications from West Nile virus. Mira Furlan was a celebrated Croatian and American actress and singer who gained international acclaim for her powerful performances. She was a prominent stage and film actress in the former Yugoslavia before emigrating to the United States in 1991. Furlan became a beloved icon to science fiction fans for her roles as Ambassador Dallin in the series Babylon 5 and as Danielle Rousseau on the hit show Lost. Phil Spector, he was born in December 1939 and he died in January 2021. His age was 81 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from COVID-19. Phil Spector was a revolutionary and immensely influential American record producer and songwriter. He was the creator of the Wall of Sound, a dance orchestral production technique that transformed popular music in the 1960s with hits like Be My Baby. His work with artists like the Arnetts, the Christies, and the Rodgers brothers defined an era. Brian Christie, he was born in October 1957 and he died in January 2021. His age was 63 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was heart attack. Brian Christie was a veteran American television news anchor, best known for his long tenure at KTLA in Los Angeles. He was a familiar and trusted face to Southern California viewers, co-anchoring the station's primetime and late-night newscast for many years. Christie was respected for his smooth delivery, professionalism, and ability to handle breaking news with composure. Jimmie Rodgers, he was born in September 1933 and he died in January 2021. His age was 87 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was kidney disease. Jimmie Rodgers was an American pop singer who became a major star in the late 1950s with a string of wholesome, catchy hits. He rose to fame with his 1957 smash, Honeycomb, which topped the charts for 4 weeks. He followed this with other successful singles like Kisses Sweeter Than Wine and Oh Oh I'm Falling in Love Again. After suffering a severe head injury in 1967, his career was impacted, but he remained a beloved figure from the golden age of pop music. Sharon Begley, she was born in June 1956 and she died in January 2021. Her age was 64 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death were complications from lung cancer. Sharon Begley was a highly acclaimed and award-winning American science journalist known for her exceptional ability to make complex scientific topics accessible to the public. She was a senior science writer for the health and medicine publication STAT at the time of her death. Over her distinguished career, she also served as the science editor for Newsweek and wrote for the Wall Street Journal and Reuters. Junior Mance, he was born in October 1928 and he died in January 2021. His age was 92 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was brain hemorrhage. Julian Junior Mance was a celebrated American jazz pianist and composer known for his soulful blues-infused style. His career began in the late 1940s, and he went on to play with many of giants of jazz, including Dizzy Gillespie, Cannonball Adderley, and Diana Washington. Mance also led his own successful trio for many decades, releasing numerous albums as a leader. Sammy Nestico, he was born in February 1924 and he died in January 2021. His age was 96 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Sammy Nestico was a legendary American composer and an arranger, best known for his prolific work for the Count Basie Orchestra. His sophisticated swinging arrangements helped define the band's sound in the 1970s and 80s, earning multiple Grammy Awards. Before his work with Basie, he was the chief arranger for the United States Air Force Band for 15 years. His compositions have become standards and are performed by jazz ensembles and big bands all over the world. Botkin Jr. He was born in April 1933 and he died in January 2021. His age was 87 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Botkin Jr. was a Grammy-winning American composer, arranger, and musician with a diverse and successful career. He's best known for composing Nadia's theme, the iconic instrumental piece that became the theme song for the soap opera The Young and the Restless. Botkin arranged for numerous artists, including Harry Nielsen and Barbra Streisand, and scored films like Bless the Beasts and Children. His work left an indelible mark on the sound of 1970s television and pop music. Little Walter DeVan. He was born in January 1948 and he died in January 2021. His age was 73 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was COVID-19. Little Walter DeVan was a beloved Boston area radio personality and musician, affectionately known as the Oldies King. For decades, he was the go-to voice for rock and roll and doo-wop classics, hosting popular shows on stations like WODS and expert on the music he played. He was also a recording artist himself, leading the group Little Walter and the Night Lights. DeVan was a cherished figure who kept the spirit of classic rock and roll alive for generations of listeners in New England. MacGeorge. He was born in October 1928 and he died in January 2021. His age was 92 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. MacGeorge was an American actor and voice artist, best known for his long association with animator Bob Clampett. He provided the voices for several characters in the classic cartoon series Beanie and Cecil, most notably as Captain Huff and Puff. MacGeorge was also widely known for his uncanny ability to impersonate Oliver Hardy, a role he played in commercials and on the animated series The New Scooby-Doo movies. Dustin Higgs. He was born in March 1972 and he died in January 2021. His age was 48 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was execution by lethal injection. Dustin John Higgs was an American man who was convicted and sentenced to death for his role in the 1996 murders of 3 women in Maryland. Although prosecutors acknowledged that Higgs did not personally kill the women, he was convicted on the grounds that he had ordered a co-defendant to commit the murders. He maintained his innocence regarding the murder charges throughout his time on death row. His execution was the last of 13 federal executions carried out in the final months of the Trump administration. Jerry Brandt. He was born in January 1938 and he died in January 2021. His age was 82 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was COVID-19 and pneumonia. Jerry Brandt was a visionary American music promoter, agent, and nightclub owner who was a key figure in the rock and roll scene. He started as a talent agent, working with artists like Sam Cooke and the Rolling Stones, before opening the legendary 1960s nightclub Electric Circus. In the 1980s, he founded the Ritz in New York City, a pioneering venue that showcased punk, new wave, and rock acts, and was one of the first clubs to feature large-screen video. Gerald Locklin. He was born in February 1941 and he died in January 2021. His age was 79 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was COVID-19. Gerald Locklin was a prolific American poet, author, and longtime professor of English at California State University, Long Beach. He was a prominent figure in the Southern California literary scene, often associated with writers like Charles Bukowski. Locklin was known for his direct, accessible, and often humorous meat and potatoes style of poetry that drew from his everyday life experiences. Over his career, he published more than 150 books, chapbooks, and both sides, leaving a vast and influential body of work. Vincent Rizzotto. He was born in September 1931 and he died in January 2021. His age was 89 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Vincent Rizzotto was an American prelate of Roman Catholic Church. He served as an auxiliary bishop for the Archdiocese of Galveston, Houston in Texas from 2001 until his retirement in 2006. Ordained as a priest in 1956, he dedicated his life to serve the Catholic community in the Houston area in various pastoral and administrative roles. Dave Arnold. He was born in December 1971 and he died in January 2021. His age was 49 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was brain tumor. Dave Arnold was a Pennsylvania state senator who represented the 48th district, which includes all of Lebanon County and portions of Dauphin and York counties. He was a member of the Republican Party and previously served as the direct attorney of Lebanon County. Arnold was a senator from January 2020 until his death in January 2021. Maynard Wallace. He was born in August 1942 and he died in January 2021. His age was 77 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Maynard Wallace was an American politician who served in the Missouri House of Representatives from the 143rd District from 2003 to 2011. He served as superintendent of schools in Ava, Missouri and Forsyth, Missouri. Wallace also served on the Missouri State Board of Education. Barbara Gronemus. She was born in November 1931 and she died in January 2021. Her age was 89 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was undisclosed. Barbara Gronemus was a long-serving American politician who was a member of the Wisconsin State Assembly for 26 years. A Democrat from rural western Wisconsin, she was known as a fierce and independent advocate for farmers, the environment, and her local constituents. She served as a chair of the Assembly's Agriculture Committee and was respected on both sides of the aisle for her deep knowledge and tireless work ethic. Marlin Kuykendall. He was born in March 1935 and he died in January 2021. His age was 85 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was cancer. Marlin Kuykendall was an American politician and retired United States Air Force pilot who served as the mayor of Prescott, Arizona. During his tenure, he provided steady leadership for the city, most notably during the tragic Yarnell Hill fire in 2013. Which claimed the lives of 19 Garnite mountain hotshots. A decorated veteran of the Vietnam War, he brought a sense of duty and calm to his role as mayor. He was deeply committed to his community and the well-being of its citizens. Jimmie Powell. He was born in January 1935 and he died in January 2021. His age was 85 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Jimmie Powell was an American professional golfer who played on the PGA Tour in the 1960s and 1970s, but whose greatest success came on the senior PGA Tour in the early mid-1990s. In 1995, Powell became the first player to ever win both the Super Seniors competition and the Senior PGA Tour event at the same tournament. He accomplished this at the 1995 First of America Classic. Varelans. He was born in September 1969 and he died in January 2021. His age was 51 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from COVID-19. Paul the Polar Bear Varelans was an American mixed martial artist and an early pioneer of the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Known for his immense size and strength, he competed in several of the UFC's formative events in the mid-1990s, when the sport had very few rules. Varelans was a fan favorite due to his imposing presence and his willingness to fight anyone. He was a memorable figure from the brutal no-holds-barred era that helped build the foundation of modern MMA. John Arnett. He was born in April 1935 and he died in January 2021. His age was 85 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was heart failure. John Arnett was a dynamic American professional football player who starred as a halfback and return specialist. After a sensational All-American career at the University of Southern California, he became a five-time Pro Bowl selection with the Los Angeles Rams in the 1950s and 60s. Known for his explosive speed and elusive running style, he was one of the most exciting players of his era. Arnett was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame for his incredible collegiate career. Robert Cheezic. He was born in January 1939 and he died in January 2021. His age was 82 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Robert Cheezic was a highly influential American martial artist and one of the first to be promoted to the rank of Grandmaster in the Korean style of Tang Soo Do in the United States. He was a student of the legendary Chuck Norris and founded the Cheezic Tang Soo Do Federation. Over his long career, he trained thousands of students and was instrumental in popularizing the martial art across the country. He was widely respected for his skill, dedication, and contributions to the martial arts community. Muriel Grossfeld. She was born in October 1940 and she died in January 2021. Her age was 80 at the time of her death, and the reason for her death was stroke. Muriel Grossfeld was a trailblazing American gymnast, coach, and judge who was a dominant figure in the sports for decades. She competed in 3 Olympic Games in 1956, 60, and 64 and won numerous national titles. After her competitive career, she became the head coach of the United States Women's Olympic Gymnastics team and a respected international judge. Grossfeld was a fierce advocate for the sport and was inducted into the United States Gymnastics Hall of Fame for her immense contributions as both an athlete and a leader. Lubomir Kavalek. He was born in August 1943 and he died in January 2021. His age was 77 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was undisclosed. Lubomir Kavalek was a Czech-American chess grandmaster and one of the world's top players in the 1970s. After escaping from Soviet-occupied Czechoslovakia in 1968, he settled in the United States and won the United States Chess Championship 3 times. Kavalek was also a respected chess coach, author, and longtime columnist for the Washington Post, known for his brilliant tactical play and his engaging writing. He was a major force in the chess world for over 50 years. Don Sutton. He was born in April 1945 and he died in January 2021. His age was 75 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death was cancer. Don Sutton was a durable and exceptionally consistent American professional baseball pitcher whose career spanned 23 seasons. He spent the majority of his career with the Los Angeles Dodgers, becoming a 4-time All-Star and the team's all-time leader in wins and strikeouts. Known for his remarkable longevity, he won 324 games and recorded over 3,500 strikeouts, earning him induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1998. Lonnie Nielsen. He was born in June 1953 and he died in January 2021. His age was 67 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from dementia. Lonnie Nielsen was an American professional golfer who had a successful career on what is now the PGA Tour Champions. He was a long-time club professional in upstate New York before finding late career success on the senior tour. Nielsen won 2 events on the PGA Tour Champions, including the 2009 Dick's Sporting Goods Open. He was known for his steady play, his hard work, and his friendly demeanor, making him a popular and respected figure among his fellow players. Ted Thompson. He was born in January 1953 and he died in January 2021. His age was 68 at the time of his death, and the reason for his death were complications from autonomic disorder. Ted Thompson was a highly successful American professional football executive, best known as a general manager of the Green Bay Packers from 2005 to 2017. He was the architect of the Packers team that won Super Bowl, building the roster primarily through the NFL draft. His most famous and consequential decision was drafting quarterback Aaron Rodgers in 2005. Thompson's draft and develop philosophy made the Packers a consistent contender and cemented his legacy as one of the top executives of his era. Thanks for watching the video. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Have a nice day.